already.
Do you know the bullshit, man?
I don't even know where I'm going when I start a sentence.
Is that your secret?
Yeah, I was like just chatting shit about them dying in minigun, and then I was like, but we can save you, and I was like, oh.
So,
Honestly, it's all bullshit. I don't think about it.
Davis was going to talk to Prov about.
By the way, on the way back to the room, Rain will just be like to Prov, so why did you tell him to get him looking at me like I was some two-headed monster?
Oh, not much really. I just said that you are some sort of terrible monster.
Well, thanks for that, but I suppose if he gets the job done.
Yeah, I know you should have seen his face. I said you were like a psychic mantis half-breed. I mean, even we have stories about the mantis on
If
on
by
New
mantis
Earth.
you mean wraiths.
Yeah, I remember it. You know what?
Yeah.
So, Rain at this, Rain's eyes go slightly wide as she sort of glances at Davis in a very much a tell him, look. You're
Davis is wearing his spacesuit still.
Davis does not respond to the look. He just doesn't give any facial response.
So Rain's just like,
Stone face.
right, okay. Just sort of like looks away nervously.
So I will then meeting up with you, and we have a quick little conversation, whatever, and I go, all right, so what exactly did you think you needed from me at this point?
I wanted you to ask him the questions about what we really needed to know. He's agreed to tell.
Okay. Very well then. From what I understand, as of a couple moments ago, the reason why the two of you bonded a little bit is because of your disdain for the Novus Corps.
That perhaps helped. But I also told him that Rain was a monster, and he lapped that one up.
I look down at my suit, which is, though it doesn't have any Novus insignia on it or anything like that, because of the fact that it is like a military grade outfit, it is like standard Novus Corps, battle space uniformy thingy, but it doesn't have any of the Novus stuff on it. And I look down and I go, do you think he'd put two and two together with this in my background?
Well, I mean, he might, if we're talking about getting him less time in a Novus jail cell as opposed to something else, then it might actually help.
I would agree with what Rain says. If you seem official, like someone who has power, it might give him the faith in the fact that you are able to provide what it is he wants.
I nod halfway through his explaining that because it honestly made sense, and one of those like thought of something I didn't. I say, then put out a fresh pot. I'll be a minute, and I'll go excuse myself to my chambers. While I'm in there, I'll actually remove this outfits that I have on and actually make sure I put on my Novus officer's uniform.
Official uniform, yeah.
Oh shit, son.
When I come out, you actually see me like wearing the Novus, commander's uniform. It's one of those things where it's like well pressed, everything's perfect. And obviously, it's one of those like your character already knew when you see it in the uniform. Imagine it's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you see, he like looks at the uniform for like a couple seconds, and then you see like his knuckles whiten on the mugs that he's holding. Starts grinding his jaw quietly as he turns away and starts stalking towards the
I'll probably take one of the mugs from your hand and then sip it and walk along with you.
He's got 3 mugs then.
So we'll go and I'll walk in with you.
When you walk in, he doesn't say much.
Okay.
Oh, what was his name?
Axel.
Mm-hmm.
Axel.
So
Axel.
Please go ahead.
This is the captain of this vessel,
We're on
and
a
here's
vessel.
your coffee.
Cheers.
Let me, and he's gonna pull out the knife and undo the.
Yeah, he'll sip it a
He's
bit.
still got his legs done, but
Yeah,
his hands.
he can't go anywhere. Okay.
after like a little exchange and he seems to get comfortable and maybe even takes his first sip or whatever it is, I will then go over, place down my mug, place down my data pad, pull out the chair, sit, pull it back in, straighten back, get comfortable, adjust the data pad, unlock it, get it all set up, adjust the mug ever so slightly,
That's the power play.
turn the handle slightly outwards so it's perfect for looping your fingers in when you need to, and finish
You're
adjusting my
enjoying
files,
it too
everything's
much.
set. And then after like that long silence,
While this is going on, like he looks at Davis and he's like also looking at Prov like, what the hell?
And Davis like,
Axel,
That's me.
any surname, or is it just Axel?
Go by Axel.
So anyways, it's a lot of that. And so I say, how long were you with them?
3 years.
State who they are.
Excalibur.
You were with Excalibur for 3 years.
Yeah.
How'd you get in?
I was, I had some friends with like-minded point of view that people like you should stop meddling in our affairs. Growing up on Pike down in the deserts was we just really wanted you to get out of our hair. We would have lived much better lives without you meddling and everything. So we just kind of drifted into it together, I suppose. One of the guys he does a lot of recruiting and got us in.
Where are your friends now?
All over. It's not like the guys I was with were those guys. Probably back on Pike. I know at least one of them's on Ballista.
What kind of jobs do they do?
Well, is the gun running and the smuggling and the we got to make money for the operations because everything costs a lot, and gotta make the explosives. That's a lot of what people do. I really got much them brain smarts, so I mostly did the trying to talk to people, talk real good.
Axel, do you think you'd be able to provide the captain with a list of names, locations, and favored jobs / occupation?
I'll actually hold my hand up and say, I honestly have little to no interest in the tips of a finger. You go about the task that you're told to do, just trying to live your life and improve that of those around you, your family, your friends. I understand and I respect that. That's exactly what Novus Corps does for its own people. However, it is those that sit higher up, those that control the hands, those that control the arm. Those are the ones that made the decisions to make things violent, to take innocent lives. I don't care about your friends. I care about those that feed the poison into your ears and those of your friends. So, the one who recruited you, that friend, what can you tell me about him or her?
Guy's name is Montaigne. He still gives us orders sometimes. He sent us off to the station, 52.
When you flew in on, and I said the vessel?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was him. That was him telling us to do it. And one of those stay behind a table and push the papers around types, probably like you.
No facial reaction. I respond saying, and he's stationed at Ballista?
Yeah. He kind of, he runs that whole operation down there.
When was the last time you went to Ballista?
Oh, I ain't never been.
What bases have you been to?
Several on Pike. I mean, this one. There was one in on WAS itself.
Hold on.
That was where you were when tried to blow the reactors.
WAS. Yeah, I was like, where is WAS? Yeah. I take note of this stuff and I say, I have no interest in starting a war with Pike, so I have no interest in bringing bringing a fleet to that planet or that system even. You've never been to the base on Ballista.
No. I don't even know where it is. I just know it is.
Do you know anybody else that works there?
Yeah. Your guy told me that. You mean psychics? I mean, they got one of them. They got one real crazy lass. Say they can see the future.
It's most likely lies.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't want to believe that. I mean, if we could see the future, I mean, we'd be winning, right?
I just ignore it, and I say,
Prof chuckles.
Yeah, I just ignore it, and I say, you're not giving me anything that I haven't already known. I already knew that there was your contact. I say the guy's name, stationed at, and I say Ballista, and probably even whatever amount of trajectorying stuff we been able to pull, which I imagine does not pinpoint anything for me. I already knew of your these companions here, the stuff you flew in on, and probably other details that we found.
All the stuff. Yeah. You big dick.
You're not giving me the information that I need to make your coming clean to me worthwhile.
I don't know what you want. I mean, I'm just a grunt. I don't know everything. I know more than the most, but I don't know everything.
See, that's where you're mistaken. I hate the phrase "just a grunt." Every soldier starts off as just a grunt. Even those that have had silver spoons in their mouth from birth and spent their time in the academy from their childhood, they even start off as grunts, even if of their own status. Every grunt sees more than others think they do. Every grunt hears more than even they think they do. Every grunt sees paperwork and walks through offices, finds faces that stand out to them. Every grunt puts their boots on soil that might be important. I'm going to give you a little bit of time because this deal stands. I don't want you rotting away the rest of your life for just being the tips of a finger. I want you to tell me what I can do to bring this war to a complete and utter end, with Pike having its independence and its people ceasing to suffer. Tell me what you know. You have an hour. And I'll press one button that closes everything up. And I press my chair back, stand up, and walk out of the room. I'll leave behind my mug.
Oh. Fair.
You can do this, buddy. Don't make the captain bring her in here. I know you can think of something.
No, okay. I just need to think real hard about this.
Right.
Do you rejoin us outside? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he would tell you to get captain in 20 minutes. Takes him a bit of time to sort of think things through.
I'd have to tie one of his hands.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be so cruel. He's not going anywhere. I will tie one just to be sure.
I don't go in there in less than an hour. I give him the full hour to make sure he understands the gravity of the time that he's going to spend with me. Once again, power play. And while we're out there, though, and when you two join us and we do converse, I say, I'll actually open it with, he doesn't seem like a bad man, just an idiot.
Well, that's probably true of a lot of those types, yeah? You get anything, you didn't get anything good from the first, from there, that's why you're going back in, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to have to go back in. But this time, he's going to think that he has information. It may or may not be what we're looking for. We're going to have a bit more pointed of questions. I know how to interrogate. I've done it before, but it's not exactly my forte. I'm more adept at speaking to my crew than pulling answers from the opponent. So what bits of information do we think that we can pull from this man, understanding that he is just a simple grunt and beyond that a moron?
Yeah, he mentioned the base on Ballista. It seemed like a decent place to investigate further. He mentioned the psychic woman, one who could see the future.
At this, when you mentioned that, Rain looks at you suddenly.
Yeah, I know.
Woman who sees the future.
There can't be too many people who think they can do that or have other people thinking they can do that.
Davis, boss.
Hmm.
He might well not have a clue, but see if he has a name for her.
I'll see what I can discover.
That's a personal request.
I nod and I say, with a name often comes a file, and with a file, a lead. So we will we'll go back in there. We'll let's see what he has to offer, and we'll put the pressure on Ballista, specifically the psychic. See if there's any significance to this claim. Not everybody even believes that psychics and those with otherworldly abilities exist, and so
This guy does.
the fact that he does means either he's seen something, a friend of his seen something that he trusts, or again, he's an idiot. There was a time when all of the world, all of old Earth, more or less to the soul, believed in higher powers. And after all these years, we still find no significant evidence to prove. People believe what they want.
True that.
I'll turn and head back in. I imagine you're coming with me again, Neil. So I'll turn and head back in.
I'll be waiting outside the room.
Can't leave you on
But you're
guard.
on the monitors, right?
Organization that killed the hub.
Like he might, I might be. I'm probably waiting so close to like the door, but he might even see me as they.
It's just like standing, like
Yeah.
face like a couple of centimeters from the door, and it just opens, and she's just staring at him.
So we go in there.
You've been keeping me waiting. I have things to say.
I do not engage right away. I go about the same exact routine as before, except assuming that the mug was still sitting on the table, which I assume it was. I finish it with pushing the mug all the way out to the side, to the edge of the table, like closer to the door. Not for
You
you.
made me thinking. You know, you got my brain turning in its gears. You're saying about how you're not meant to worry about the tip of the fingers, and you're meant to worry about the head. I mean, I heard. I never met Excalibur, but we do a lot of video calls, and I've seen him without the mask, talking to Montaigne, and they would talk about something similar. You know, don't go for the fingers, go for the head. I mean, I think they use different wording. You know, there's a lot of ways you can say the same thing, but they went for they're going for the head. I know that. I mean, I think they mentioned something about a president. I mean, if they were going for the president of Novus, I mean, that would be the head. That would be the head clean off.
I do the best I can because I'm usually pretty stoned off character anyways. Something like that is significant, so I do the best I can to hide any facial reactions to that and just take my notes. And of course, there's a bit of a recording going on anyways. Here, I don't know if videos as well, I imagine, from like the room, but do the recording and take my notes. And I say, how did you hear this? I know, for the record, I understood it was video calls.
He more or less repeats.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have like much more to it.
So it wasn't to him directly, just because he happened to be in the room with the conversation. Okay, gotcha. So my apologies. And this was to the guy that he was in the room with, one of the dead people, the one holding the sword.
No, that guy's got nothing. He's never mentioned that guy.
Between Lontan and the guy with the mask, who is
Montaigne
Excalibur,
and Excalibur.
himself.
Okay.
This guy Montaigne he's mentioning seems to be.
So these are like conference calls.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. These aren't direct link calls. These are
No.
conference calls. Okay, cool. So my apologies. So I understand all that, of course. And then I say, information like that might be credible. Sorry, it might be viable. Information like that might be significant if there's any viable evidence to back it up, or it could just be more otherworldly claims like a psychic that can see the future.
It is real, I swear.
You swear? Why? Did she show you your future?
No, I ain't never met her. I ain't never been there. I just know it's real. I believe people who believe that they've seen her predict the future. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. Excalibur believes her, and he's the smartest person in the world.
Excalibur also has led many innocent people on Pike to die because of his own crusade.
You know, bodies need to fall to crush the regime.
sometimes all you need to fall is a little bit of. Sometimes the only thing you need to fly is a little spittle as you use the correct words in a meeting. It's a terrible analogy. So
Yeah,
I
Horrible.
was like,
analogy.
oh, like fucking.
Absolute got like see me after class. Bad.
Like I just quit. It's just out. So,
That ends right there. that was the role play equivalent of that one.
remember having a good day, clip that and send it to me. Ruin it. So, anyways, so continuing on, pretending like it was something better than that.
yeah.
So I say,
Rob just like raises one eyebrow. Like,
Sips his coffee.
this coffee's bad. It's cold. It's better. So anyways, he my apologies. I don't even remember what I was trying to say with that. It's so bad.
You were trying to find out about the
I don't know.
the precog.
The
Oh, okay. Yeah. So more or less people believe what I say, who, so sometimes, yeah, so more or less sometimes words are better than swords sort of a thing. And then I say, who has told you this? Others has, I say, I understand that others have said
know what
this.
you said.
I say others have said this to you, but who has said it to you that you believe?
I believe everyone. I mean, all of my boys. I mean, leader of his mission, been doing it. Excalibur believes in her. Montaigne believes less in her, but he said that he said, and I quote, well, exactly I quote, because I can't remember every fucking conversation I've had in my life, that you know, you can't argue with the results. She can see things.
Axel, we're gonna need a name.
Oh shit. It's a girl name. It's kind of preppy. Is kind of the name you would give like a doll. It's not really a name you'd give a person. I can't. It begins with an S. I'm trying, but I really don't. I don't think I got it in me.
I see you trying. When was the time that you were told about her?
Oh, that was not that long ago. I mean,
Where were you
probably
at that time?
a few months ago.
I said, where were you, Axel?
Oh, I was on transit to there.
Take a nice deep breath. Try to imagine what that transport was like. You were inside. What was the temperature like? What were you feeling at the time?
You can give me a talk check to try and do this. Not Jason.
I think what's funny is I actually was just about to say, what's his face? Davis, I forgot my own name. Davis gets a bit of a shiver, and he actually looks to the side over at Prov as he remembers, because Jason was also a practiced psychologist, as he like looks over and sees this like throws him off.
I can't remember what that technique's actually called, but it is a legitimate technique.
Yeah, well, for sure, right? It with the temperature thing, because all your other senses are related to memory more than like sight.
It's like, I came home, I had my keys. I didn't have them when I got the ice cream, but I did before I got the ice cream. What did I do between ice cream and keys?
He's
What temperature was the room?
He's thinking as much as he can, but he's struggling. I don't know. I never talked to her. I never even talked to Excalibur, who's the one who keeps her close.
What do you know of her at all?
She can
You don't have her
see-
name.
She can see
aside from-
things.
You don't have her name, aside from being that you would give a doll. Too fine for an average woman. I understand that. Potentially beginning with an S, or even a C, like a Cynthia.
Yeah, could be something like that. Could be C. Yeah.
Cognitive interview technique.
But I need a bit more. Is she only Everett's Ballista? Who do you know that's interacted with her directly?
Only ever a ballista. Excalibur keeps her close. I mean, if I had someone who could see the future, I'd keep them close. They could see that if I was gonna die, and then we could stop it. I suppose. I think that's the idea.
I don't think that's exactly how it works.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, Jason.
It's like one of those, you know, his jaw really squares off. His eyes really narrow. I'm sure he can see like a bit of fumes in his eyes and Davis's eyes. Lets too much emotion take over. It's no longer that like calculated, I'm trying to assist you, give me something to make it worthwhile, and more of that, you just pissed me off, but you don't know why. So, I'm going to hold at that for a bit. I don't know if Prav picks up on the long pause or the tone of the room.
Maybe, not to hurt you. We wouldn't do that. You've been helping us, Axel, and we're gonna help you. Maybe our psychic would be able to help jog the memory.
No. I can think on it. Just give me a moment. Give me a Sabrina. That's it. That's gotta be it. That sounds right. If it's not that, then it's close. It could be with a S. Could be with a C. I suppose.
Prof looks at Davis and says, "It's perpy as fuck."
It's also not a terribly uncommon name. I
It
will slide my... Huh?
It would be in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you know, you never know. Is Sabrina in the Bible? I don't think so. So maybe it would be. Those are the timeless names, right? So
Well, not now. No. Only Anna cares about the Bible.
Providence is the timeless name.
So he pushes his seat back and stands up once again, collects his things, and looks down at him and says, I don't know if this information is going to be, I don't know if this information is valuable. I suppose we're going to have to let the future tell us your destiny. And then I turn and walk out of the room.
No psychic then, buddy. You did well. Just hang tight for a little while longer and we'll see what leads we can chase up on this Sabrina from Ballista.
And you leave him there.
Mhm.
Go back outside where Rain is waiting. It's not the kind of chamber where you can like listen in, really.
Yeah. When you come out, Rain's just like, "Wait, you get anything?"
I don't believe so.
Once
Name.
again,
You got a
using
name?
it worked. When I mentioned that you might have to go digging, he coughed something up eventually, didn't he?
Sorry, Davis. You said you got a name?
We got a name. I think he was just pulling anything that he can give, something that he thought might be important. I don't think it's viable information. We'll work with it if we can.
What was it?
Sabrina.
A second you say that, Rain goes pale. That might well be true.
I say, so my apologies. So you're kind of like doing that and like stuttering a bit to yourself.
She's almost lost words. She's just that he might have got that.
You still haven't slept. We've had a long day. And I've told you time and time again that you need to keep your calorie intake on the positive.
No.
Or immediately to the medical bay, and I'll be there shortly.
Got it. Boss. Rain walks off towards the medical bay. That. Just sort of like with a basically like walking with a hand on her head,
Yeah.
like clearly a bit disturbed.
Staggered.
Yeah.
Not fully ready to trust Prav with her information. He turns to Prav and says, honestly, the same goes for you as well. Can you see to it that the prisoner is that our prisoner is appropriately handled, and then you should probably also get some sleep. We have other crew to keep things watched as we catch our rest.
I got it, Captain. Don't you worry. You get you a good night's sleep.
I won't lie, that was a little creepy. Out of here. but he goes and walks off to meet with Rain in the medical bay, but not before pinging over to Hendrik to see where he is.
He would be in the
It's
med bay,
Henry.
and he would like when Rain comes down, looking like shit. He would have a bioscanner when you come entering the room, and he would be just sort of doing that.
So it's one of those things where as soon as I finish with him and I'm walking over in that direction of her, I ping to him to give him a task elsewhere. Actually, ping to him with a high priority of a task to be elsewhere, like probably the situation room to handle one of the pieces that are in there,
Exactly.
collaborate with the information that I just compiled.
He'll kind of like look at Rain and be like, you probably just need fluids. Drink water.
That is always the answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Except when it's not.
Got it.
I really wanted Davis to walk in there while Henrique is like this, and him just go fuck off.
And he'll give like Rain like
way
a
more
smack on the
passive-aggressive.
thigh, and he'll head upstairs, probably passing Davis on the stairs.
Yeah, like Davis is there at the door watching him. And he's like, yeah, do right.
I'll go in there to see Rain, and I'll are you sitting, standing, pacing? What are you doing?
Rain would be sitting, like looking down. It's probably a lot like that time when you interviewed her after the whole messing with the head thing, where she was sort of like that, very much sort of like a bit,
Shrunken,
yeah.
small.
So I'm gonna go over to the thermostat for the room and adjust the temperature, maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit more comfortable, some airflow in here. Grab a little cup of water, and I'll come over and actually like come to a crouch, like one of those, you're on the balls of your feet, crouches down in front of you, and place the cup of water into your hands, place my other hand over the back of it to make sure that you hold on to it.
And this is go.
And I say, drink some water, take a minute, and then explain.
Yeah.
And I'll stand back up, play, a gentle like hand on the shoulder, and I'll go a bit away from you and take a seat, so I'm not like too above or over you, towering.
So Rain takes a drink, sort of looks off into the distance for a minute or two, takes another drink, and then looks at Davis and said, Sabrina, a powerful psychic sees a future called Sabrina. I doubt that's coincidence. Do you want I suppose I have to tell the full story for it to make sense. So there was, how do I start? Like that lab scientist freaked me out, yeah?
Yes.
Oldest thing I remember, well, more or less, there's a couple of fragments, but oldest thing I remember, a lab on Val. The scientists, they were trying to train us. Four of us. If we messed up, no, don't put me back in that box. No. Sabrina, she was the four of us. Me, Sunbeam, Orange. Sabrina, she was the only one who remembered her name. The oldest of us. She was so smart. She could see the future. See himself more than what I see. Clearer, better. It was more useful. I don't want to remember that, but the four of us were there. They were training us as soldiers. I don't know. It was scientists, they're crazy. That it's quite obvious that like when she's talking, every time she goes back towards the lab, she's almost near a breakdown, and then remembering the other people she was with, it sort of brings her back a bit. And she's like, Sabrina, we escaped. Sabrina, she let us out. Her power, she could see like when the scientists would be there. She could see when we could escape, like when the guards weren't there, stuff like that. She broke us out. We got out. I don't know, her power, all of our powers, all four of us, different powers. Her power in particular. We got out. We were on Vel. We got from Vel to what's that place? Lil Turi. Can't remember now. We split up. We split up there. Me and split up there 2 and 2. Her and Sunbeam went elsewhere. I went with Orange. We went to Novus, hang around there. She went somewhere else. I don't know where, but I very much doubt there is another psychic who can see the future called Sabrina. At least not with that sort of power. I ain't got the faintest clue why she would be with Excalibur. She was smart. She led us. She helped us in Luthor, and we figured out how to live, sort of. How to survive, at least. She was a main part of that. She was the only one of us who had any memories. Not much, but a name at least, and a few things. Things were familiar to her. She was a bit older. I think she must have come to the lab a bit later. Maybe she learned a bit more about life. Maybe that stuck with her. I don't know. I bet you however many credits you want. Woman with that psychic on Excalibur's side, woman we'll probably meet. Sabrina, I know. I know that probably doesn't help you, but at the very least, I can say, if that's her power's the real deal. It's not like my half-assed dreams. She is proper. She sees things. She proper sees things. Different level of power.
There were 4 of you,
Yeah.
all different powers.
Yeah. I've got the teleporting. Orange, he was a bit older than me, not much. He made things move without touching them. And Sunbeam, she was a bit young for me. The youngest of the 4, she was affected more than anyone. That's why she went with Sabrina, because Sabrina was the best of us. She could hear other people's thoughts. I don't know, maybe if they have Sunbeam, maybe that's why Sabrina's working for them. Maybe they're threatening Sunbeam. I don't know. They might have split up after, because we split in 2. Maybe they split up again. But the only thing I can think of is if they're threatening us. I can't imagine why she'd be with Excalibur otherwise. Doesn't seem like the sort of thing a clever person like her would do. Too risky. But, well, we ain't seen each other in years.
How close were the 4 of you?
We were all we had. I have no memory before the lab. What they did, the tests, what they did to make our powers stronger, wiped it all, except, as I say, Sabrina had a bit more, but we were all we had, and even our names, my real name's in Rain. I don't know what the hell it is. The only thing I can remember from before the lab was a woman humming and the sound of the raindrops on the window in the background. That was all. So I took the name Rain. I think Sunbeam and Orange are the same. And you got no memories? 4 of you little kids thrown together in a crazy place like that where they put you in, put you. I mean, I don't even need to say, you cling to each other. We were all we had. I don't know how better to say that.
I nod because obviously I understand and everything. Though this whole time I've kept my distance. It's not like I've moved forward or done any acts of soothing or kindness or anything
Being
like
a
that.
little cold.
Unfortunately, he is a bit of a cold person in general, and his acts of kindness generally come from cognitive decision as opposed to just reflex. And so he listens to all of this and allows it to process for a little bit. Then he says, "This is something we should probably speak of more later. It's a lot for you to take in at once. That they're alive and where they are, what they might be doing. It's a lot to take in at once, especially at the end of a long day. We should definitely speak of this further at a later date. But when it comes to speaking of this, I think it's very important that there are many of us on the ship. We're going to be getting ourselves into a lot of trouble together. Sometimes a bit more than others, and sometimes situations that we can't even begin to predict. It's going to be important that others know who they have at their shoulder, who's got their back. You need to decide who it is that you need to that you would like to share information with. Maybe not anybody, maybe not everybody, but you need to come to that decision, and you need to come clean. I don't want to be setting up a report and explaining to the team when it's too late.
Yeah, you're right. It's just until I started reviewing the Magpie, I practically forgot. We hit it. The scientists, they'd come find us if we used it too much.
Not all of you hit it, and some of you were able to escape a step ahead.
I guess maybe that's why. Maybe it's protection. Being with Excalibur, I don't know who those scientists were. Guess they can't lay a hand on it. That might be what it is.
Or maybe they're scientists with the foundation of Excalibur, and many other wonderful fantasies we can come up with in this conversation late in the hours, half asleep and certainly hungry. Get your rest. Have a nice big meal in the morning. We can talk of this more at a later date. But think about what I said.
You're right, boss. And I hope knowing that's helpful in some way.
It's not just helpful. It's appreciated. This isn't just facts on a paper that I'm going to use to analyze the situation and call the right shot. This is your life, and it wasn't an easy one, just as I imagine it wasn't easy for you to share with me right now. But you did so. You showed bravery, because you know the significance of what it could do to yourself and otherwise, and the rest of us if you didn't. For that, I am very grateful. And I hadn't said it before, but I want it to be clear now. I appreciate what you tried to do, even if things didn't work out in our favor.
Thank you, Davis. I hope that as bad as things went, I hope what I did made it a little better, and I hope if something like that happens again, I can make it a little better again.
Well, we'll plan 3 steps, but take one at a time. Go rest.
You got it, boss. I think I need it.
I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm going to spend my night researching ways that are theories that are probably published but fairly unfounded as to how people think they can stop a psychic from being able to reach into their mind or theoretically their future. things to potentially cloud their ability to view one. Again, I imagine the research starts somewhere along the lines of meditation and a tin hat. But
Exactly, conspiracy theories and some such.
Would Davis's route presumably back to his quarters, where he would research, take him through the main sort of situation room?
Not through the main. It would take you through the main like mess hall. Situation room is basically before the bridge and kind of separate.
Oh, okay.
But if you would hanging out, eating, drinking.
Nom nom.
Yeah. So you'd like walk by and it'd be like dark in there, and then you'd like hear like a shuffle, and you'd look over and you see Jason there. Jason? Oh my god! Fucking hell!
Oh my god, I'm out here! Inspector!
You'd see Prov there, like eating. Looks like a bowl of noodles.
Jason for a moment. He blinks twice.
Oh god! Oh Jesus!
Jason also loved noodles.
Who doesn't?
It was a joke.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
A penis. God. You made me laugh. And Prov would, seeing you like walking by, he'd Davis, can I ask a question?
Scott, hold back the quippy response. And then I just turned to Ricardo in character.
Prov will put down the bowl of noodles and stand up and take a couple steps closer. So like, I don't know, they're maybe 3 steps apart. Are we the good guys? Because right now, all I can see is Novus are the bad guys. New Earth are the bad guys. Those fuckers Excalibur are the bad guys. But none of them are worse than the other. Each have committed atrocities. And now what we're thinking of doing, I need to know whether we're doing this to be good or whether we're doing it for your own personal revenge.
When you say that, that actually strikes a nerve because he intentionally does not like having vengeance on the mind. That's something that he's put out of his head a long time ago. But Prov obviously doesn't know that. So when he says that, I say, have a seat, boy.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're gonna get a dad lecture.
Prov will sit, but he looks uncomfortable and unrelaxed.
That war was long. That war was hard. And I didn't get the luxury of sitting back on a ship every moment of it. I was up in the grit. I lost my fare. I lost my friends. I lost those that I loved. That war dragged on far too long. And even to this day, despite what proclamations and the news might tell you, it is far from over. That whole while, I've seen people give in to the hatred. I've seen people chase down the path of vengeance, and I've seen what it's left them. Either broken, battered, and dead, or a shell of who they were once before. I always told myself I would not do that. I slipped once. I gave in, and I hunted those sons of bitches down. I lived a hard life, and I've earned the titles that I've received and all the medals that I wear. That doesn't mean I'm willing to make the same mistake twice. I lost the most important person that's ever existed in my life. And I'm continuing this task not because I lost him and not because I want blood to be shed and the vengeance to be had. I'm doing this because it is the right thing to do. Has Nova made mistakes? Abso-fucking-lutely. Has Pike made mistakes? Abso-fucking-lutely. Has New Earth made mistakes? Honestly, we don't know much about New Earth. Details about New Earth are kept kind of quiet. Just makes you wonder what quality people they are. But Excalibur, they're something else. They're extremists. They're going to let the whole world burn. They're going to take down every system they can just to prove a point. with no plan in place, no path to peace. They just want war. So, if we're hunting down Excalibur, I want you to know damn well, I want you to know now, and I never want you to fucking question it again. We're doing it not only because we're the good guys, we're doing it because it's the right fucking thing to do, and not because someone was taken from me and everyone else on this ship. And I will turn and walk out of the room.
As you walk out, Prob would say, "I didn't know him, but I think he'd be proud, Captain."
It's one of those things where as he starts speaking, of course, there's like that slow down to hear, wondering if you're going to be wheeling around and fucking knocking his head off, But he says it, and when he says it, it's like the quarter turn is done, and then he stops with the turn. He nods slightly. I think maybe you caught a glisten against his cheek, and he walks out of the room.
And with that, that's it for
Bam.
today's session.
Emotion-filled ending.
Suddenly,
there.
that last half hour just went emotion to shit,
Yeah,
trauma to
that's how it
shit.
works.
Well, we had all the fuckery at the start. That was the climax.
Yeah, true.
See
Okay,
how I made that all
sure.
sexual?
Yeah, because you like
Impressed.
noodles.
Is climax
So-
sexual?
Speaking of
It was with the
noodles, my favorite noodle belongs to Neil. Neil, who are you? How are you?
Hey, I am good, and I enjoy this stream and the streamy bunch. Obviously, if you're watching this, well, I miss you, muchos.
We miss Thomas.
I
There'd be a
miss
lot
Thomas,
less sneaky shit if
and I
it was
miss
Thomas.
Jason. There
Oh,
would
we
be
need
a
to do
lot less.
something? Go and punch him. Go punch him. Thanks.
I am Neil. You can find me on Twitter and the Discord, the False Pretenses Discord, which you should join down below.
Down below.
At Naghite, or on Twitter at Naghite_. You can find me in Scott's stream in the past on a Wednesday, where I am Talabast in Witcher Bloodletting, which is a lot of fun, and it has a fun aspect which is different to this in that the audience can build up points and influence and change the world around us a little bit, which is a lot of fun. It's caused a lot of fun fuckery, but it wouldn't be quite appropriate in illusion. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a way for you to get really involved. And thanks, Jesskoink, for the as usual.
As
And
is
thanks,
tradition.
guys, for all the support that you guys are giving to Ollie and Scott. I've noticed that the viewer counts have been up, the followers are going up, lots of people have been subbing, lots of bits, and they both appreciate it, and I appreciate it for them as well. You guys are really cool.
Speaking of cool, we don't have a cool guy. The best we have is Ian.
I'm Ian, aka Arvine. I was going to introduce myself as the player of traumatized young women, and then realised how terrible that sounded.
Oh my god, I'm glad. Oh boy.
Yes,
That
don't
sounds
do that.
awful.
Yes, exactly. So I'm on Twitter, although I haven't actually tweeted in like 2 months, but tweet at me if you want. It's probably easy just to at me at the Discord though. Particularly, I will take part in any part of any kind of anime-related conversation. So,
Or if you believe something is anime related, I don't remember what Scott did recently, but there was an
oh yes,
abbreviation.
it was How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, she was-
What's the anagram for How I Met Your Mother?
it's horrible, and that's one of those things. Sometimes Scott does it something, and I'm like, you know what? I get it, but
it's like Humio or something like that. And
Yeah,
I was like,
no, I can understand why you thought that, but it's like Gurren Lagann or something, GL, whatever it is. It's like
Gurren Lagann Tengen Topper.
yeah, GLTG, something like that, or whatever. But yeah, hit me up on Discord. Neil is always before me in these things. He always steals all the. I'm going to get brownie points for saying watch Ollie. Yeah, so I can't do that.
I mean, technically you still
I live
can.
in a heart.
I still can, but it just sounds like I'm
yeah,
copying
at this
Neil.
point, you can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. So just basically what Neil said.
But
All right.
worse. Slightly worse.
Yeah,
Speaking
basically.
of slightly worse, like me, and this
Locals
channel,
more.
but slightly worse, is Delric.
What?
You can find him at delric.com, where all his times and
Or-
events are.
Or tonight,
Or tonight.
when we find out what's in the chip. We wanted to know what was in the box. We found a holocron in the box. But
You found a
tonight,
holocron?
we find out what's in the chip.
Is it a Sith or a
The
Jedi?
chip that I honestly think is a backup AI of Grievous post-mortem. That he just plugged into.
That
a
would be
fucking-
so Star Wars.
But like,
but
like-
Star Wars. So this is actually important because I did research after like that session ended. Like Star Wars does have fully realized AI, which is intelligent transference of a person over.
Yeah.
So the idea that you did that with Grievous, you actually took his
There's
intelligence
the
AI.
the fucking lightsaber maker is one of those,
So
played by
who would
David
create
Tennant.
the holocron though? Because it requires someone who's extremely powerful.
well. So there was nobody force sensitive in the party when the campaign first started. We're not going to waste too much time talking about this. The short version is
Yes.
we've recently discovered there was a force sensitive. Check out the stream tonight.
It
Twisted
sounds
Suit Crush.
interesting.
Lost
It's a
the-
fun game. I don't watch it every week, but I enjoy it whenever I watch. Sometimes I'm sleeping.
Scott, are you the force sensitive?
My one, again, not going too far into the hole, but my one rule is I don't want to be the force sensitive one.
He doesn't like he wants to be the regular boys. And speaking of
That's
regular
fine.
boys, I'm a regular boy. You can find me here and on the Twitter. I'm playing Spider-Man for the whole rest of the week because I don't have anything else to do. So I'm going to be playing a bunch of Spider-Man. I'm going to
Say it, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I'm going to be playing Spider-Man. I'm going to be playing Spider-Cop. Grizzled, no rules detective.
Sorry, I'm going to take it back for a second. Next week, Wizards of the Coast is releasing that game that you talked about, the card game. What's it called?
Magic the Gathering Arena.
That's it.
Oh, I
Magic
hope that you watched this.
Guilds of Ravnica.
There's a Guilds of Ravnica expansion, but Magic the Gathering Arena is going out of beta or going into beta from alpha because of the Guilds of Ravnica expansion.
I get early access.
And
I
the
get a whole
person
bunch of
who's
stuff.
getting the early access and the press coverage is the person who doesn't know anything about Magic the Gathering.
I'm in this
But that's
Discord
fine.
full of a ton
That's
of them.
fine
And I'm
at all.
like, I haven't played in 16 years.
so-
And some of them like, that's how old I am.
I'm definitely okay with how this has gone as a business choice.
I'm like, this is great. What is this game? How many manas do you need to? It's funny because people are like, oh, I can't. They talk about these cards. I drop an image of the big black BBFG, like the one that was from like literally 14, 15. I was like, last time I played, this card was new. Like, that was bad. I'm sorry.
You can find me here. You can also find on Sundays our D&D show where we don't have an idiot like Scott, and it's good. And
That's
there's a,
actually very far from true.
I know. That's a monster hunting show. It's kind of slightly monster of the weekish, so you can catch it whenever, and that's kind of part of the point. This show and that show are also supported by Patreon, which there is a link down below. You can come and help. You can make NPCs. You can do all the things that you want to do by helping me, by helping you. And that's us. We won't be here next week because there's no Scott.
What?
Because
Where
you're
am I
doing the event that you just talked about.
Yeah, I know.
Acting. So we'll be here in 2 weeks' time. I'll probably play Spider-Man during this segment instead, and
Yeah, play what?
Spider-Man.
Oh, it gets me. Also, we didn't get any cat this stream because we were too.
She was
like-
there.
He was there.
No, I mean cat face.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had to leave mid stream at one point because my dog was like bathroom, and I was like, what do you have biological functions that you need to be attended to? What's the matter? with you?
It's like I have suppressed all biological functions.
Oh,
I am
well,
a
my dog was
working
outside.
machine. All right, we're gonna go now. See you in 2 weeks.
I wanted to say something. Oh yeah, hashtag fuck Beric.